Hey YouTube, it's Wes. Hope you guys are doing great today. I am getting back to my roots. We're going to dive into a super amazing crypto project. It is its very own cryptocurrency. It's its own platform. It is all about gaming. It's all about NFTs, and it's taken the world by storm, even in the sense of it's got a marketplace of users to the tune of millions of dollars in an ecosystem, and many of them don't even know they're using cryptocurrency behind the scenes. Yes, my friends, we are talking about Flow. It is a really cool crypto. We're going to talk about some of the news around their parent company, Dapper Labs, and what is happening that's driving this market in such an awesome way. You don't want to miss this video. We're going to cover all of that and a whole bunch more coming right up. All right, my friends, thank you guys so much for joining. Wes Spencer here. I am really glad you stopped by to watch this video. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about a super cool crypto, all about Flow, and why I think it's a really, really cool project and has a ton of potential, both for the investor side of the house and just for an awesome market that's really, really interesting and cool. So while you're here, I would love for you to do one quick thing. Right down below is that subscribe button and the like button. I'd love for you to hit both of those. It goes a really long way for this channel. And hey, I've got memberships. You can also check those right down there. I'd love for you to just dive in and take a peek at that. It's a great way for you to connect with me in a more meaningful way. I'll never gate content away from you through memberships, but just a great way for you to connect. Okay, so let's start the way I like to start. We're just going to share the screen out and we're going to dive into some really fun stuff. So I saw this hit the news today, and I was pretty impressed by this. So if you don't know much about me, I'm an entrepreneur by trade. I created a company called Perch Security. In fact, I'm wearing one of the shirts right now, and we recently sold it. And so I've gone through these motions of raising venture capital, going through funded rounds, building a company, immediately building it into, not immediately, but eventually selling it, all of these things. And I love this journey. So I've got my eye on press releases around new funding rounds. And for the past few years, we've seen serious money come into the crypto space for legitimate and exciting projects. And one of those, of course, is Dapper Labs. Now, if you don't know Dapper Labs, you probably know a lot of their projects. You've probably heard of NBA Top Shots. Yes, that NBA, the guys with the sporty shooty hoop stuff. I don't really watch sports, but I've heard it's pretty popular. Also, Cryptokitties of lots of internet fame, and some other exciting projects, even with UFC, you know, the guys that like punch each other and all that stuff. It's a pretty neat thing. Like, not UFC, I don't really care so much about that, but what Dapper Labs is doing. And so take a look at this news right here. It's pretty interesting stuff. So they just raised a new $250 million funding round. What that means is they partnered with some venture capital that's going to get ownership and some amount of stake inside of Dapper Labs in return for that funding. And that funding is used for them to build and scale and grow their platform. And this is not a new funding round for them, right? So Dapper Labs has done this before. They've had multiple funding rounds. In fact, this press release here even talks about a recent one at $305 million. And it puts their current valuation at Dapper Labs at $7.6 billion. Like, that company size alone makes them more in market share than most cryptos that are out there as a whole. I mean, that's kind of awesome. So what's driving such immense valuation? Why is there so much money coming into this? Even from Google Ventures, even from Coinbase, Andreessen Horowitz, some of like the top shelf VCs in the world are putting serious money into Dapper Labs. Well, one quick peek will definitely give you the answer to that. Let me show you right here. Let's just jump over to Dapper Labs themselves. They even market themselves right here as the NFT company, and that really is true. Now, I haven't really covered NFTs a lot on this channel. I've mentioned them in some different ways, but NFTs are really cool, right? It stands for non-fungible token, and it's basically a way to use cryptocurrency, or really I should say the blockchain is the real way to say it, to store some kind of digital asset and to prove authenticity and ownership of that asset. So we know there's been some big news items that have happened in the past year. For example, the Beeple artwork that was sold for, I think, $69 million. And you're thinking, who the heck would spend that much money on a piece of artwork that, like, I can just go see on, I can just Google for it and see it? Well, that's where it gets muddy, right? NFTs are a challenge because it's a digital representation of ownership, but others can see it. Here's a great way to think about it. I don't own the Mona Lisa. I can go see as many pictures as I want of the Mona Lisa, one quick Google search, and I can see the Mona Lisa, but I don't own it. And that's the way you have to think about NFTs is it's an ownership thing. Yes, anyone can go see it, but only one person owns that artwork from people. And that's what makes it valuable. It's just tricky because it doesn't hang on a wall like a painting might. And that's where I think Dapper Labs really has their finger on the pulse of like how to make NFCs really useful. And the way that they're doing that right now is partnering with some really cool projects. For example, creating NBA Top Shots, which is a wildly successful NFT platform that really checks all the boxes for people wanting to have a fun consumerized approach. And we'll dive into that in just a minute. So here's Dapper Labs. You can see kind of what they're all about. They're not just about building NFTs in a marketplace for them. They're also creating their own crypto, which is a big part of what we're going to be talking about today. So there's not a ton to show right here on all of this. I mean, you can just hover on their site and see, but take a look. This really gives us a better idea of just how big of a deal Dapper Labs is, commanding that $7+ billion valuation. So it's the #1 DApp in the world. The reason we know that is because it's the most heavily traded. There's 10 million transactions that have happened and over 700 million in sales on Top Shots alone. And Top Shots is a pretty relatively new platform. Scroll down, you see Cryptokitties. Cryptokitties was one of the original ones that truly gave NFTs this, man, this is a really cool thing. Much smaller in sale volume. In fact, Cryptokitties is super famous because it even shut Ethereum down. When Cryptokitties came out, it was all the rage. Everyone was in it. And Ethereum, as a layer 1 solution, simply couldn't handle the transaction volume. And it literally fell apart. So I think that's pretty interesting. And then you can see some of the others that are here as well. And they're creating many more ones, even ones like UFC coming soon. I'm telling you, it's gonna be popular. So why are these so, like, why does everyone love them? If you're an NBA fan, for example, Top Shots is an unbelievable way for you to connect in a deeper way. See, consumers love connection points. They love this idea and ability to like really dive in deeper to the things that they love. And what NBA Top Shots has done better than anything else that I've seen in this space, at least in the crypto space, is they've given fans that juice. They've given them that ability to really connect. So yes, you see some of these like massively rare, massively expensive, like here's a LeBron James dunk. This NFT, there's only one listing. It's listed at $1 million. I wouldn't pay that. I mean, maybe Snoop Dogg would. If you've seen the news, Snoop Dogg is getting all into NFTs and has been buying a ton of them. But you can see there's all kinds of different prices for different ones based upon the rarity, and many of them are way, way, way cheaper than that. But what's so cool about them regardless is I'm just going to click on this one right here. It looks like its lowest ask is $80 for this one right here. And maybe you're a big Anthony Edwards fan. And so this NFT is your ownership and connecting with that amazing dunk, right? Like you see that, you're like, that's super cool. This is unbelievable. I want to buy it. It even comes in collector's edition. So you can buy multiple, I guess, angles, multiple different versions of it, and you can have all of it. There's the final score. I don't know what all this is. It doesn't really matter, but you get the idea. It gives fans the ability to really connect, which is so awesome. You can trade these, and I know why this is successful. See, when I was a kid, I collected baseball cards. Baseball cards for me was such a fun way. I remember going to the store, buying them, ripping it open, putting that nasty stick of gum in my mouth and chewing it for like 8 seconds as long as I could tolerate it. I mean, who knows like how long that dusted gum was stored in the packets, the baseball card packets, but they were. And then looking through the cards, that was the most fun, hoping you got a rare one, trading with friends for the ones that you like. This is just a better version of that. Yeah, it's digital, so it's not tangible. You're not holding it in your hands, but what you are doing is it's got tradability. It's got, like, you can see video in here, like all of that kind of stuff that's in it. It's got all kinds of details around the cards themselves, how many they've made. It's just super fun. And in today's day, when kids all have iPads and phones and all that kind of stuff, they have the ability to store these, trade these, use these in really, really interesting ways. And so I think it's really, really awesome. You can even buy starter packs. Maybe if you guys want me to at some point in a video, I'll buy a starter pack. I'll buy one of these $10 packs and we'll see what I get. Maybe I'll be the lucky guy that gets some super rare one. You see why this is so cool. So you can buy this guy for $9. I don't know what's all in it, but I just know there you are. And it's funny because it looks like an actual package. It's not. It's all digital. So that is NBA Top Shots. And that kind of gives you a little peek to like why it is so powerfully attractive to users and what's driving all of this. So again, this is made by Dapper Labs. So I think that's pretty neat. Here's also Cryptokitties. I wanted to show this one to you as well. So if you want to take a peek at how this works, this one's really neat because you can like take multiple kitties and you can breed them together. And there are people that even dive into like the DNA details of certain cats, and they're looking for like one kitty to match their other kitty and hopefully create some rare version of it. It can get really, really, really in depth, like way in depth. And so this is the ecosystem, right? We've seen a ton of cryptocurrencies that come out with really interesting ideas, and not just cryptocurrencies, but crypto projects that come out with really interesting ideas, but the go-to-market struggles. There's just not enough people using them. And that's really what makes Dapper Labs so incredibly different and so incredibly interesting to me, is just the fact that they've already put their finger correctly on the pulse of where NFTs can be used and how they can be so powerful. And I think that's really, really exciting. So what's driving all of this? Well, the big thing that drives it is the actual cryptocurrency itself. It's called Flow. And here's what I love about Flow. Flow is its own crypto. It is not based upon Ethereum. It's not a fork. It's not a token. It's its very own cryptocurrency. And in today's video, I'm going to give you a very lightweight introduction into Flow, and then we're going to talk about the tokenomics just a bit as well. The reason Flow was created was because Dapper Labs, as they continue to build an amazing project with Top Shots, Cryptokitties, and others, they realized Ethereum does not work for us. As a layer 1 solution, it does not have the scale capabilities. It does not have the transaction speed capabilities. We know this. I've covered this before. I made a video a long time ago, kind of tongue-in-cheek, called ETH, You Suck. And you can go check that out and you can see why it's so frustrating and high transaction fees, etc. And so the Dapper team knew we've got to build our own platform, our own cryptocurrency. It's going to drive all of that. And the way that it works is really pretty interesting. It really has this idea of splitting up the capabilities. It doesn't use sharding. Sharding is where we take little pieces of blockchain data and we store them in different places. It actually takes the whole node and operator experience and separates it into different categories, which allows it to be much quicker, much faster in terms of how it operates. So you can kind of scroll through all of this. Yeah, here it is. This is what I was talking about. There's a collection piece, a consensus piece, an execution, and a verification piece. And all of this goes in together to really drive it to have much more speed and efficiency. It's currently the only cryptocurrency that has that kind of technology built into it. And I love that they custom built their own blockchain for their own ragingly successful marketplace, which shows that it has usability. It shows that it is a capable platform. And we're going to see other people, not just Dapper Labs, but others continue to use Flow as well. And so if you're looking for a coin to invest in, the Flow crypto is what drives all of this economy. And we know it works because we're already seeing super powerful, successful projects use it. So I think that's really, really neat. There's their little thing about no sharding and how it works as a better layer 2 solution for all of that. And then you can see all of the different integrations. These are not all people that are like selling it. Some people are, you see universities involved in the research. You see some of the funding, venture capitalist arms. You do see some of the exchanges that are trading it, all of that kind of stuff. So all it is here, and again, you can see some of the backers, Andreessen Horowitz, A16, like top shelf investors that are all in all of this. So those check all the boxes. We know who the creators are. We know that there's serious money behind it. If you want to get started in it and you're thinking like, man, I would love to build my own project. It has a great developer portal. I'm not going to get in depth in like creating your own code. That's really not my audience. So I don't cover like how to actually do a lot of that in this channel. Really don't cover it at all. But they do have a quick start guide. They even use like Cryptokitties as an example. So you can start with that and build off a real live example. So all of the documentation is here, which make it really, really nice. The other thing I wanted to talk about quickly is just the tokenomics. So it is complex. There's a bunch of stuff that happened in it. When the token was released, there was like a 1-year lockup. There's some complexities in terms of how the inflation works, where they create new crypto over a certain period of time. I think it's like a 4 or 5 year period of where new flow will continue to be introduced, and then eventually it will stop. And that's when the inflationary concept goes away. So it's currently trading at just about $18. It's gone up a little bit in the past recent amount of time. If we take a look at the market cap, it's currently sitting at about a 1 billion market cap. Fully diluted though, if you consider all what we think the full inflation is going to be, it looks like it could be 25 billion. So you guys know what fully diluted means. If you don't, that's like the assumed value if all of the future supply were here today. So that could go up, it could go down based upon what the final full number of tokens will be created, how many flow will actually be out there, and its future value. But that's just a guess. A lot of volume. It's being traded quite a bit. Now, if you're in the States, it is not so easy to buy. The reason for that is, I covered this in the last video, all the regulation challenges around securities and what the SEC thinks is a security and them getting into the crypto space. And so I will have a video later that dives in a little bit more on how to buy this, but just know it's not as easy to acquire if you're in the US at this point in time. But do a lot of Googling and you will find some ways that you could get it, should it be the right option for you. So if we look at its, year to date, really we'll just do all time, because I don't even think it is a year old. You can see it's fluctuated quite a bit on its price, all the way down to a low point of like $7. So it's currently sitting at, close to $18 right now, but nowhere near all of its highs. Its highs has been somewhere in the high 30s, it looks like, for some of its all-time highs. So I think it's definitely an interesting project. And I think with the news that just hit, remember, a lot of times we buy rumors, sell news, but you do see the news of this really blowing up and becoming, a pretty big deal. And for all intent and purposes, I can see why. I can see why this is such a big deal, because of the platform is robust and it has millions of dollars traded on it and tons of users using all of this. And it's bringing NFTs an actual marketplace that proves to work. So that's Flow. I'm really excited about where Flow is going. What I want to do is have a few more videos around all of this. I might do a video in more depth if you guys want to see more about how Top Shots works. Not that I care so much about it myself, but just showing you as an example. I can also do a video a little bit more into the real tokenomics of Flow. If you guys would like to see more of that, just let me know. I can do a whole kind of series around all of this. But I think it's very exciting. I think where it's going and its ability for future improvement and future robust capabilities as more and more platforms are built on top of Flow really make it a very exciting crypto. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I'd love to know what you think about the NFT space all together. I'd love to know what you think about Flow, Dapper Labs, and if any projects that are coming out in the NFT space are interesting to you, just leave me a comment. I'd love to know what you guys think about them. I read every single comment. Don't reply to them all, but definitely read every single one. All right, guys, thank you so much.